What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by the Full Fun Friday crew. We've got Joe Livia Rodrigo, his brother Tim Wright, and John Luke Garofalo with us. What's up, guys?
What up?
Joining us today, we have our great friend and the Gamecock that we put up with the most, Teddy Ricketson, here with us. For those of you that don't know Teddy, you can find him on Twitter at Teddy Ricketson. It's right there below his handsome face on the screen. He's a staff writer for the DraftKings Network, and we are hyped to have you here with us today, my friend.
I know you and I talked about it earlier. We're both very excited that college football kicks off this weekend. First game for South Carolina and Clemson this weekend. It's very exciting that they, gave us a bye last weekend. That was awesome. So excited to pair that with some NFL football.
I cannot wait for the first game of the season against the something Buccaneers. It was a small school, and I can't remember. But, man, weird that we're starting the season out against them. We've had some pretty good season openers so far, but not this year. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show with Teddy. Craig in here, our chat historian, celebrating Teddy as now the 15th member of the Front Yard Fantasy Double-Digit Appearance Club.
Let's go.
Abbreviated as the FYF DDAC. Teddy, congratulations on your FYF DDAC induction.
Thanks, man.
Teddy's playing in his fifth game of now 10 appearances on FYF. He's 2-2 in games so far, including 1-0 in pole perception. So looking for that elusive winning record here today, Teddy.
Let's go. I'll take it. I'll pull the Lions and come out on top.
We got Dame in the chat saying hello, FYF. Let's nail some polls, shall we? Hashtag team chat.
Chat.
Craig excited to got everyone in here, and that's not English. Dave in here. What's up, Dave? Welcome in. And Craig saying, yay, Simon is back. I loaded up with so much medication just to come hang out with you guys today. Excited to be here. You couldn't keep me away for 3 days. Andrea stopping by with a hi, everyone. And our friend Pang saying star-studded crew.
Oh.
We got Scamper stopping by saying it's Friday, FYFers. Indeed, it is. And Mr. Scamper's letting us know you got an ad for Mongolian cashmere sweaters. Tim, was that your doing? Did you secure them as an ad sponsor on our YouTube channel?
Yeah, actually, it was my COVID project. I shaved my chest a few times and knit a couple sweaters. So they're very, very exclusive. But yeah,
they haven't been selling well.
No.
Ad space now.
Yeah.
Not at all. If you can believe that.
We got DJ stopping by in the chat saying, hey, guys, glad to see you boys back talking fantasy. What's up, DJ?
Yeah.
Welcome in. And Albert in here saying hello, everyone. What's up, Albert?
Hello, Albert.
Well, guys, today we brought Teddy here to play some pole perception the night after the very first game of the NFL season. We saw the Lions take down the Chiefs. And not only is the NFL here, but the chaos struck early for us. Before we get into our game, there were a couple things I wanted to ask you guys about as we're going into this. First, Teddy, I'm going to throw this one to you. What do you make of the wide receiver situation there in Kansas City? I'm not even going to point at any particular wide receiver because about 47 of them got targeted last night. Is there anybody or anything that you saw that gives you hope for one of these players to emerge above the rest?
I mean, it gives me a lot of hope that one of them's probably going to get cut. Based on how he played. If anything, it kind of gave me hope that you don't have to decide between any of them because they all didn't do well. And obviously, they're going to get a little bit of a boost when Kelsey comes back because there were so many plays last night that watching the game, you're like, all right, Kelsey is who he would target in this, on this pass. And all right, Kelsey keeps that ball and that kind of stuff. So it was just, I think, more of a start kind of reminder of what Kelsey means to their offense, but also a reminder of the front office not pursuing one DeAndre Hopkins in free agency. So we actually wrote an article today at DraftKings Network about trade targets that they could look into, but
Say it. Make Joey mad.
Don't
say it. Say it.
Everyone's been saying it all day.
I'm not saying any names, but you have to go read to find out. But no, I don't know that they make any crazy moves, even with the extra time to get the player ready. But for now, I don't really like anybody. I think Sky Moore has better days ahead of him. I'm not saying that the same thing is true for Tony.
Hey, Joey.
Yeah.
How do you think a player like, I don't know, Mike Evans would do on the Chiefs?
I think he would be fantastic. Somebody asked me, I was in an AMA yesterday about that. And I was like, I would be very sad as a Buccaneers fan, but ecstatic as a fantasy football fan. Like Mike Evans would thrive there. He would easily have another 1,000-yard passing season.
I'm just
Last night, I loved what I saw to Justin Watson. He only got targeted, I think, 3 or 4 times, but outside the pass interference, he was holding on to the ball that started him, and that's saying something compared to what we saw from the before.
God, yeah. I just like about 3/4 through that game, and I was like, God, poor Patrick Mahomes. They literally said, you know what? They were like, we can make it. He can make it work with whatever we
Suck
throw
it.
at him. So we're gonna spend our money elsewhere. They're like, we don't need to spend money. What a waste of talent to not have Patrick Mahomes throw to this bunch of scrubs out here. Sorry to all you scrubs on the Chiefs. I see DJ
Everyone
stopping by.
tuning in. Yeah.
Whenever y'all ready, I got some fantasy questions for you. Well, we're ready. If you guys have fantasy questions, throw them in the chat. We're going to be playing a game, but we'll answer your questions in between rounds. And Peng saying, shout out to Tim's hat.
Go Fins, baby.
Love that classic Fins logo.
All right. Well, guys, today we are going to be playing some poll perception. It is going to be 2v2. And the teams are as you see them on the screen. Tim and John Luke are going to be on one team. Teddy and Joey are going to be on another, making the teams Team Teddy Joe and Team John Tim.
Fair enough.
All right.
Go Team John Tim.
I'm going to explain the rules of this game ever so briefly here, then we'll get started. Before we do that, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you're not already following our guest Teddy on Twitter, follow him right now at Teddy Ricketson. Check out his work over at the DraftKings Network. After you do that, head on back over here to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the easiest way to show your support for what we're doing. And the little notification bell will make sure you don't miss any of our live shows every day at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And right now, if you're getting ready for your DFS lineups week 1 and week 2, you should head to fantasyalarm.com/NFL and start your free 7-day all-pro trial. You'll get all your week 1 and week 2 DFS goodies in there right in that 7-day window to determine whether or not you want to continue. You will. With that being said, you guys ready to get into some poll perception?
Yes.
Yep, let's go.
Let's do it. All right, I'm going to explain the rules, and then we are going to get started. Before today's show, and by I mean Jay, found 7 delicious, succulent, beautiful polls online that I'm going to ask you guys about. One of our teams will be presented with a poll with a side A and a side B. I might say, what percentage of people would prefer side A, Saquon Barkley, over side B, DeAndre Hopkins in a dynasty league?
88.
Joey, who was on the team answering, would give me a percentage for him and Teddy. The closer you are to the actual number, the more points your team would get. Now, before I reveal the actual number, though, false start times 45 and John Luke, you guys will have to guess whether the actual answer is over or under the percentage that your opponent set. They're taking the over. I saw they communicated telepathically. JL just put it towards me. I'm going to ask you guys to leave the telepathy and the instructions, though. Please speak out loud during the game.
No.
Unless it's naughty. Then keep it in the damn telepathy. If you guys correctly predict that, you'll get 2 points for getting the over-under. We're going to alternate back and forth like this through 6 polls. Each of you guys getting 3 per team before we get to our 7th and final round. In the 7th and final round, everybody's writing down a percentage. Each and every one of you. We are going to average the percentages that you and your teammate wrote. I'm not going to mess up the math this time. And whichever team is closer, we'll get those 5 points for the last round. Or 10, if you are exactly right. Whoever has the most points at the end of that is our poll perception champion for today. You guys ready?
Yep. I haven't won in a few days. I hope that Team John Tim eats a butt today.
We probably will
I mean,
eat
I
a few
kind of
bites.
do as well, but
Craig, and you're saying jail has a notoriously bad team poll perception record. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, my
That's
bad,
okay.
Tim. Maybe you can balance this out.
Before we get to our first poll here, DJ had a question for us that I asked this yesterday, but I'm struggling with picking one flex full PPR. It's got Marquise Hollywood Brown, Khalil Herbert, Raheem Mostert, and DeAndre Hopkins. Says he's not considering Hollywood, struggling to pick between the 3 left, though. Teddy, I'm going to throw this to you first. Which of those 3/4 guys are you considering in your flex?
So the Cardinals injury report just came out, and Brown is questionable going into the weekend. He was another limited participant in practice today. So I'm kind of away from Hollywood, quarterback situation and injury. I'm with these. I'm ready to get hurt again by Raheem Mostert, and I'm not proud of the Dolphins fan here. I actually targeted Raheem Mostert a lot, especially with the Jeff Wilson injury, him going IR. So I actually will go with Mostert with Herbs being a close second.
Jay, you agreeing with Teddy here? Or are you starting someone who's not named Raheem Mostert?
I would start DeAndre Hopkins. I like DeAndre Hopkins. If we in a full PPR league, it's close enough here. I'll lean Hopkins over Mostert.
What about you, Tim?
I think Mostert is going to be a pretty solid play this week. It's going to be a shootout. The Chargers weren't the best against the run last season, and they're going to have to establish that pretty quickly, hopefully, for the Dolphins. So I like that this week, but I have loved Khalil Herbert this whole season. I'm very excited about him against the Bears. Who are they? It's the Packers. Oh my God, brain fart.
He's on the Bears.
Yeah, he's exciting though. But I'm going because that's more fun.
That's the twist of week one. Khalil Herbert is playing for both teams. He's on the Packers and the Bears. Peng in here wants to know, are the polls true or false? Maybe. Some of them have two options. And Scamper's letting us know that Naughty Telepathy is his favorite EDM playlist. It's a lot of trance music in there. And Dave in here with the Raheem must start, agreeing with you guys that you got to get Raheem Mostert in there.
I see what he did there.
Craig in here with your official team record. You are 2-9 in team poll perception, John Luke, but you're about to make it 3-9 today if you win.
It's also my age.
2-9?
Yeah.
11.
2-9.
Congratulations.
I'm 11.
You're almost 12.
Make a wish.
God, you're 29.
We're so screwed.
All right, well, guys, we're going to get into this game.
Tim.
Teddy and Joe, you guys are up first. Are you ready for poll number one?
We're up first?
Yep.
We're ready now.
Team Teddy Joe. My question is, which side would you prefer in Dynasty? Side A, Jonathan Taylor. Side B, a 2020 first and second late. And that is how it was written in the answer choice. I assume late applies to both since they're grouped together, but this is exactly how it was written. What percentage of people said side A, Jonathan Taylor, Team Teddy Joe?
Can I ask
All right,
when the poll was given? Or are we not allowed to get that information?
All of these polls are within the last 7 days, and if anything relevant has happened that would affect the outcome of this poll, I will alert you of that time frame.
Okay.
So these are all based on the most recent news surrounding these players.
I still think JT wins this because they're late picks. I kind of want to go high 60s on this because people do love picks in Dynasty. What do you think, Teddy?
I love picks.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to end up somewhere, whether I don't think it's going to be with the Colts, but obviously once he gets past week 4, we'll kind of see what happens this year, but we are thinking Dynasty, so like longer term. So I still think that he's the answer, and I think that like,
okay,
I mean, 69 is right there, but to keep it family friendly, we can go to 68.
Yeah, I like 68 better. Or do we like 70 better?
68. That's
68.
Yeah.
Right. We have decided on 68%. Simon, we can't hear anything you're saying.
I thought you were speaking in
3 years, but
open hand.
Sorry, I muted for a cough and forgot to unmute. 68% locked in from Teddy and Joe. Team Teddy Joe, we are on to Team John Tim. Do you guys think the actual answer is over or under or Queen Bee exactly the same as their guess of 68%?
Do it.
How old is Jonathan Taylor?
He is 25. I think 25.
24.
24, 25.
24. I mean, I think they're definitely right. I think he wins this by a decent amount there. I love picks because I can't ever get them. So when I do get them, it's exciting. So I think I'd make the dumb choice and take side B, which would make me think I like a hair lower, but I think they are right. He wins this by a pretty decent margin.
I'm with you, Tim. I think I don't know, mate. Well, you tell me if I agree with you. I feel because I don't actually know, but I feel like I feel like more people are going to take those pick side just because of all the conversation around Jonathan Taylor and the uncertainty around it. We know that in Dynasty, it probably doesn't matter as much, but people aren't paying as close attention to it as we are. So I'm with you. I think it could be the under here or lower than what they said for Jonathan Taylor on side A.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the concern is that nothing happens. He sits out the full year, so you lose another year. He's another year older. You know, you're basically buying something that you're not going to get to play with for
Something that's just going to keep
a year, and then under.
All right, lock it in. The under.
Locked in with the under. 68% from Teddy and Joe. The under from Team John Tim. We had some guesses in the chat. 58% coming in from our friend Dave. Andrea thinks it's 60%. Craig says 69, you naughty boy. And we got a naughty cat there as well with 69%. Grim fan said 42%. Albert coming in with 63. Dame thinks it's 55 and Peng down at 28%. If this is your first time watching with us, play along. Like you see all these people doing in the chat. We'll shout you out if you're very right. We'll mock you if you're very wrong, and we'll just glance over your comment briefly if it's just an average guess. Putting this poll back up there, what percentage of people would prefer Jonathan Taylor over those picks? The correct answer is 58%. So that is pretty good for everybody involved. That is going to be 3 points for Teddy and Joey because they were within 10 exactly, right on that line. And then 2 points for Team John Tim because they correctly picked the over-under there.
I thought I saw some chat that did 58. Am I making that up?
Did we have a chat at 58?
Yeah,
Dave with the first guess in there.
Yeah, there we go.
Dave got one exactly right earlier this week or last week whenever we played as well, if I'm not mistaken. Dave's on a hot streak.
Let's go.
Just in time to come on the show next week. See if he can replicate it on here.
We got Toronto Dave on next week.
Dave said, all right, good night, everyone. See you later. He's retiring. Nice job, Dave. Absolutely killing it. Before we move on from that poll, Joey, I wanted to throw this one to you and see how you were feeling about Jonathan Taylor's value in Dynasty. Are you concerned about this, the implications this could have on his career, or is this really a short-term issue for you?
It's a short-term issue for me. If it was 2 firsts, okay, I'll make that trade. But a first and a second, no, I'm high pat with Jonathan Taylor.
Teddy, are you in line with Joey there? Or are you maybe a little more tempted by that pick side?
No, I mean, I'm not a good dynasty football player. I don't care about picks. I like winning. And so I just, I would just say I'm still jumping Taylor. I'm not super worried about his situation because I feel like it's just however it shakes out, whether he gets paid and stays in Indy or if he goes to a new team that actually wants him, I think he's still going to ball out. And I think he has plenty of years to do that.
Before we move on to our next poll, we had a question from Grimfan in here. Wanted to know whether he should start Javonte Williams or Michael Pittman in a flex full PPR. I see another question in there, but we'll start with that one. Tim, who are you starting, Javonte Williams or Michael Pittman?
Oh, God, let me read. I forgot to think for the entire time just then. Start Javonte or Pittman in full flex and start with Rashad White.
Javonte's got the Raiders. Michael Pittman's going up against Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm a sucker for Javonte, but I think they are going to ease him in the first couple games. So that unfortunately makes me lean Pittman. I am a bit of a masochist, though, so I'd probably go Javonte. And then I think, dude, the Vikings defense is not that great. They added Brian Flores to help corral that bad boy, but I think that's going to be a sleeper shootout. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, so I think Rashad White might actually be a solid play there.
Tim, I'm going to agree with you on all fronts. I am very nervous of the Anthony Richardson week 1 wide receiver in my fantasy lineup. And that's not to say it can't turn into something good, but I just want to see it. And with that being said, Javonte, although they ease him in, I feel like there's a 0% chance Javonte Williams ends with 0 yards. There is a non-0% chance that Michael Pittman ends with 3 targets, 0 catches, 0 yards. So I'm going to throw Williams in there. Teddy, where do you stand on this one? Oh, sorry, Jay, I cut you off, but I already threw it to Teddy.
No, you're good. I was going to say, I don't know that I'm a masochist, but I agree with him. So, yeah.
JL, which way are you going here?
I agree with you guys. That's what I was chiming in to say.
Joey, disagree with us.
I am going to disagree with you guys on both fronts, actually. I want to see it from Javonte. I know what Michael Pittman can do, and Anthony Richardson, I think the matchup's fine for him. As far as Rachaad White, I am terrified of the Buccaneers' offensive line. Maybe because I'm a Bucs fan, and I understand they're going against the Vikings, but I'm afraid the only thing Rachaad White is going to get this year is little check down passes, which in PPR would be great, but I don't know. I'd rather start James Conner. I would. I'm afraid of that Bucs offensive line not being able to support any of those running backs.
We got Bob Harrison here saying, I'm easing myself into the chat, much like Denver will handle Javonte. What's up, Bob?
That's a solid strategy.
I was going to let a big one out.
Ease it in.
Clemson beat Charleston Southern. Yeah, in week 1 of the college football season.
Yeah,
You think?
I sure hope.
I sure hope so too. I looked it up when Simon couldn't remember the name. CSU.
But they are the Buccaneers, am I right?
I think they are. I didn't look
Charleston-
that far.
Charleston Southern sounds like a SNL character.
Charleston Southern.
Good
day, sir. My name's Charleston Southern. We've got Andrea in here saying hi, Bob. We're saying hi to Bob as well. And Craig said the P. Ryan fan wants to see it from Javonte. All right. Well, we're going to move on to poll number 2 here. This one is going towards Team John Tim. The score is 3-2. I'll get that updated here ever so shortly. But here is your poll. Who do you trust more for the rest of the season? Side A is Sky Moore. Side B is Kadarius Toney. What percentage of people said Sky Moore in this poll?
All right, it's got to be a little bit more Sky Moore.
Was this today?
Yes, this was after the game.
Damn it.
My guess would be Sky Moore just because it felt a little less in your face than Kadarius Toney. Like you saw Kadarius Toney just starting to melt down.
Yeah, but I mean you've seen flashes of Toney doing well enough. Sky Moore is still, to me, I think the only reason we saw him pretty much at all is because Kelsey was out. I think they have more fun packages waiting for Toney, take it how you will, when Kelsey comes back than they do for Sky Moore. So I would still trust Kadarius Toney, and if he has bricks for hands and it turns out that that's true, I'm actually more excited for that because I want the Chiefs to lose every single game. So I would go side B here. I think
where do you think the public is landing on this though?
Post game, dude, I don't know if people full tilted or what. So I would be comfortable with like a 45%. Keep it close to the middle, I guess.
I was thinking like 54 was the number that popped into my head.
Well,
you said 45. Yeah, let's split the difference. 47, I think maybe. My best guess at splitting the difference.
49.
Pretty
49.
It's a pretty shitty guess at splitting the difference, Joe. I'm going to be honest, but I like the effort.
I didn't do any math in my head. I just said the first number I could think of in between those two numbers.
49. How about that?
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Keep it like
split the middle, 49% from Team John Tim. Team Teddy Joe, do you think the actual answer is over or under their guess of 49%?
I think Sky Moore won this poll.
I'd agree. I think it's going to be
people
because I think Tim nailed it when he said it was from last night or right after the game, and everyone saw how poor. Like it was just still Toney is right there, and then 56. So yeah, I would agree with you.
So we'll go over.
Yep.
Okay, the very enthusiastic over at the end there from Team Teddy Joe.
We'll go over.
Thank you.
Win this, baby. Let's go.
We'll take the over.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Yes, that's exactly what we want. I know it was fake, but it still made me feel better.
I'm like immediately giggling. I think my flu's gone. We
got some cowboy hat on too.
Yes.
Let's go.
Keep off everything.
Joey slowly turns into Yosemite Sam over the course of the show. We got some people in the chat with guesses in here. Dave said 27%.
Wrong.
Bang with 64%. Andrea said 28%. Grim fan said 0.0000001%. Greg thinks it's 60%. Dame with 50%. And Scampers with the high guess out of everybody at 72%.
Not bad. Or it could be that. I don't know.
It could be bad. Joey's gone, but I think he can hear me. The actual percentage of people that chose Sky Moore over Kadarius Toney in this poll was 70%. I am sorry. That is going to be.
Let's go, yeehaw!
Is that Tim McGraw?
I think it's Kenny Chesney.
Joining the show and the Front Yard Fantasy team is country music star Kenny Chesney.
I'd like for all of your girlfriends to line up outside my tour bus in Tallahassee, Florida.
All right. Well, team Teddy Kenny, you guys are going to get 2 points for correctly picking the over-under on that one. Unfortunately, no points the other way. Tim, you look absolutely distraught at this.
I mean, even if we went with 54, like JL said, we missed regardless, so it's not like it mattered.
You look more disappointed in people.
Yeah, it seems like such a wild overreaction, but I guess that's what Twitter's for. So.
That's what week 1 is for, baby.
Yeah. Oh well.
Also, shout out Scampers with the closest guess, 72%. And I missed a guess in here from my mother with 46%. What's up, Mom? Welcome, man.
And we got Jedi in here with the guess of Tony.
Nah, Tony.
What up, Jedi?
Well, Tim, Jedi agrees with you. Nah, Tony.
Not Tony.
So, Tim, if you're rostering one of these people rest of the season, it's Tony?
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably not gonna, but if I had to, probably, yeah. I mean, I think this is just a bummer of a game. I mean, afterwards, I think he deleted all of his stuff. I think he got a little bit too flashy, too big for his britches, and I think this is the wake up call that he probably needed. So I think he's going to be more stable throughout the rest of the season.
It's one game. You know,
it's one game.
It's a single game. It's the first game after a long period of weeks without any games, and so I saw a lot of what I saw last night felt like rust.
Yeah.
What I saw last night was Kadarius Toney get 5 targets on 16 snaps.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. And I know he dropped 3 of those targets, but let's just hold on a second and see if as he starts playing more, he was on the field for 16 snaps, less than all those other wide receivers. He out-targeted almost every single other player on that team yesterday. It was bad, but with that kind of presence on the limited work that he had, you gotta wait and see if he's gonna put it together. We forgive drops all the time. We say drops aren't a sticky stat. Well, here's a 1-game sample size. Let's not get too sticky with it.
Yeah, and he wasn't designed to be the first target in any of that stuff. He's not designed to be that player. That's not him. Kelsey's gone, creates a vacuum, throws him into a spot he's not supposed to be in. So
I was walking Rosie this morning, and we're walking down this path. There's families of kids walking to school in the neighborhood. And as I'm walking past, the lady goes, "Yeah, he throws a pick 6, but it wasn't his fault." So I turned and I was like, "No, it's Kadarius Toney's fault." And they all just turned and looked at me and started laughing.
Man, and they were quick to blame it on him on the broadcast too. They were Kadarius Toney's gonna have his feelings hurt going back and watching that because they were like, "Man, pick 6 and on a literally perfect pass from the literally perfect passer. I can't believe he managed to drop that." They said literally perfect multiple times while describing the pass that turned into a pick 6. Scampers down here with the real answer says correct answer was to let your league mates deal with this discussion.
Yeah, there you go.
Smart cat.
And roster Justin Ross. Just put him on your bench.
And Ralph says don't sleep on Sky Moore. And Craig
Sky Moore does sound like a pillow that you buy on an airplane.
Craig promises that he will not sleep on him because he's very uncomfortable, as are most airplane pillows. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, guys, we're going to move on to our next poll here. This one is going back to Teddy and Joe for the beginning of round 2. The score is 5-2 after that one with a chance for you guys to extend your lead. Are you ready?
Real quick, can we talk to the lady behind JL? Can that person come on camera? I'll take our question, please.
That's just a green screen. You'll see her loop back around in about... Oh, there it is. Yeah,
there it is again.
Pretty quickly. Told you it was a green screen.
Chug,
Okay, well,
chug.
Well, here is your next poll. Are you starting J.K. Dobbins for fantasy week 1? Side A is yes. Side B is no. Team Kenny Teddy. What percentage of people said side A yes?
100%. That's not going to be that, but that's how I feel in my heart. I have him as a top 10 running back this week. I love Dobbins. I think it's going to be kind of high on the yes side.
So I agree with your logic. I'm thinking of the people that are going to sit there and be like, well, I don't have them on my team, so no. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out. If they would have responded to the poll,
Those people
said, no, clearly not. I don't have him. But no, I agree it's going to be high.
True.
Do we want to go 81%?
Actual poll, then yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that.
81? Okay.
81% from Team Teddy, Kenny, John, Luke, and Tim. Do you think the actual answer is over or under their guess of 81% here?
I think it should be over, but you're the Ravens dude. See what you got.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down. Take the over. Let's let it ride.
I love that we got on for our lack of pizzazz, bar over, and then.
Oh, it's coming, Teddy. I'm just building a case against it. We got some guesses in the chat here as well. We've got an 88 from Dave. We've got Peng's picks with 83%. Andrea thinks it's 90. Craig with 70. I see Green Screens Media popping in here as well. What's up, Eric? We got Cody with 88. Jerry coming in with a guess of 76. Scampers with 77. Dame with 69%.
No, Dame. No.
And John said 75%. The other 25% already left Christian Watson in their flex, so they're not starting J.K. Dobbins.
That's good, John.
Grim fan with 67%. Well, guys, let me put this poll back up here. And the actual percentage of people that said they are starting J.K. Dobbins for fantasy in week 1 was 43%.
What?
43%. Go ahead, Jill. Ask me.
How many?
2,759 votes on this poll, saying less than 50% of people would start J.K. Dobbins in week 1. Teddy, what do you make of that? Because everyone seems shocked here. What could be the reason? Do you think it's what you said, just that 11 out of 12 teams in a league don't have them?
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's really funny.
Otherwise, yes, the Ravens, brought in a much more talented pass catching options for Lamar, but I don't think that they're all of a sudden going to be passing the ball 60 times a game. So I mean, I'd still start him this week if I've rostered him, but I think it's just a lot of people say
Texans, dude. What?
I don't take it.
Joe, you screamed 100% with both fists in the air whenever this round started. So I'm assuming you would like to start J.K. Dobbins. What about his position gives you so much confidence this week?
I mean, you can run all over the Texans. That's all teams did last year. In fact, the Texans gave up the third least amount of points to fantasy quarterbacks last year because no one had to pass on them. And their defense didn't improve that much. I'm looking at my week 1 rankings real quick. I want to see, I would start Dobbins over Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Ramondre Stevenson, Travis Etienne. I love Dobbins this week. And the matchup's great, and I think people are very wrong on this.
Jail, Mr. Ravens, do you agree with Joe here? Is Dobbins a must start at the running back position this week?
I think Joey is correct, but maybe temper expectations a little bit here because this is an entirely new offense. I want to see what sort of scheme they come with, how they react to how the game goes, and how much they lean on the running backs in this game.
Also,
I'm still starting him. I don't think you necessarily need to if you have a better option.
Cody down here saying, how do you not start the RB20 in ADP? Did you have 10 picks in the first 5 rounds? Some people got some loaded teams out there or dynasty rosters that they've been building for a couple of years at this point. And Dobbins is sitting down there as RB5 or 6 on their team. And Jail's got some loaded running back depth in a couple dynasty leagues. All right. Well, with that, nobody is going to score points on that poll. And we had a couple questions before we move on to our next round here. Peng, just wanted to make sure we weren't slandering Kenny Chesney. I'm not sure if we're slandering Kenny Chesney or not, Peng. Stay tuned to find out. We got a question from Mo in here. Wanted to know Dalvin Cook or J.K. Dobbins this week, full PPR.
Dobbins.
So everyone on the Dobbins side? Teddy Dobbins?
Yeah, it's probably closer for me than it is for everybody else because I roster Cook and I don't roster Dobbins. But yeah,
I do like Dalvin Cook, especially early in the season, but it's going to be J.K. Dobbins for me as well. Mo Diesel in here. Another Mo. We got a party of Mo's in here. So start one, half PPR. Jalen Warren, Juju Smith-Schuster, Devon Chain, or flex Mark Andrews and start a waiver wire tight end like Jake Ferguson or Dulcich. So I guess really it comes down to Jalen Warren, Juju Smith-Schuster, Devon Chain, Ferguson, or Dulcich in that flex spot. Joey, I'll throw this to you first. Where are you going?
I think fantasy should be fun. Absolutely 100%. And Andrews and Ferguson is so much fun to play that in a lineup. Because I'm scared of Juju. I mentioned earlier, I don't know if it was off camera, on camera, about the knee exploding. Like, I think it might happen one of these days. Jalen Warren, he'll be involved, but I do think Ferguson could step into that tight end role. They're in Dallas, and we've seen that role be very profitable for Dalton Schultz over the years, Jason Witten. It's a good position to be. I would actually go Ferguson and Andrews.
Ferguson and Andrews. Teddy, what about you?
So I do think the fantasy should be fun, so I don't hate it. I actually think that Ferguson and Ford both should be fun too. But no, for me, I'm not as concerned. Well, I think Juju may explode at some point. But I think that just from the option list, if you felt better about Andrews as your tight end between Warren, Juju, and I don't know. I always want to call him Marchand, but there's no Marchand. And I'd still go Juju for me.
Still go Juju. Tim, are you throwing Devon Chain in there? I know you were drafting him pretty heavily this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the concern is that he's been a little bit dinged up. The report's saying he's practiced the past couple of days, so I think he's going to be good to go. And like I said before, I think this is going to be a shootout between the Chargers and the Finns. So I would probably play H-in because he's on my team, and I love playing players that are on my team. It makes me feel so happy. But if you are looking for a tight end to flex, if for some reason, some miracle that Luke Musgraves is still on the waivers, grab him. Watson out. They've got to throw it to somebody, and he might be that guy. So if you want to do the fun thing, I like Musgrave. That would be an absolute blast to play.
One more question here from Ralph before we get to our next poll. Ralph wants to know, do you guys think the Chiefs need to go out and get a wide receiver like a Mike Evans? So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but from the lens of what would it be like for Mike Evans if he were to join the Chiefs? Joey, I'm going to throw this one to you. Do you think the Chiefs need to go out and get a wide receiver? We'll take the Mike Evans out of this, but do you think they need to go get like an alpha wide receiver for this offense?
Yes, I do. I don't like that the Mike Evans name is being thrown into it. However, for fantasy, a wide receiver of Mike Evans' caliber on the Chiefs would be fantastic. I see it would work out really well. It's probably smart for the Chiefs to do. It's probably smart for the Buccaneers to do to get some picks because Andy Reid won't know what to do with his first round pick anyways. So might as well do it.
John Luke, I want to throw this one to you. Fletcher wants to know, should I trade Devonta Smith for Amari Cooper and Nico Collins? Are you getting that one done?
Ooh, that is interesting. I would stay on the Devonta Smith side, though. I'm not that interested in Nico Collins as a piece here, unless you're trying to spread your equity for some depth. Amari Cooper isn't that big of a downgrade from Devonta Smith, though, so I could see someone being enticed by this. It seems like Tim is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, are any of the other three enticed by this trade? Would you move Devonta Smith for those two pieces?
I do it. I think Cooper's going to have a pretty solid year. And then Nico Collins, he's a dude that's going so late or went so late in drafts this year. And I think that connection is real down there for the Texans. So I think he's going to be a pretty sneaky fantasy asset. So I would do this trade. A little bit nervous. I mean, we have to see the Eagles too, right? I mean, they lost their coordinator. They have a new look offense. So they should still cruise a bit. But we got to see who their guy is and how that works out.
I'll give you a scenario. I would make this trade if I started my draft Cooper Kupp and Devonta Smith. That's when I would make this trade because Kupp, we don't know when he's going to be back at this point.
Could be next week. Could be in 2094.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. Could be a freaking boat. We're going to move on to our next poll here. John, Luke, and Tim. Team John, Tim, are you ready?
Yeah.
The score is 5-2. This is your chance to come back. Which rookie wide receiver do you want on your dynasty roster? Side A, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Side B, Jordan Addison. Side C, Quentin Johnston. or side D, Zay Flowers? What percentage of people said side A, Jackson Smith and Jigba?
It's got to be like 60.
It's got to be
It's
high.
got to be high. Split about 25, but chop Addison, not super psyched about long term. Johnston, I like him long term, but not as much as JSN. Zay, I also like. These are fun receivers, man. This is a good one, but I think it's got to be high.
I think 60 is too high.
Too high?
I think there's a lot of hype for these other wide receivers. I don't think JSN is gonna blow this one completely out of the water, but I do think that he gets more than a lot here. I want to say like 35 is where my head's at.
35? You think he only steals 10 from those three guys? You're talking 35,
I'm
22,
willing to
22,
That's
22?
just where I'm thinking.
Okay.
Where I'm
I
thinking.
would put it at least at like 40.
Okay.
I mean, if you're doing 20, 20, 20 for the rest of them, that still seems high for the rest of them. I see a lot of people not really believing in Johnston. Addison's going to be in the shadow of Diggs for a while. Zay, I mean, we love him, but he's the biggest question mark at this point out of all these guys in my mind.
Let's go 45 then. That's sort of in the middle, I think, again.
45? I like 45.
Is that fair?
I think so.
All right, 45, lock it in, Simon.
45 locked in from Team John Tim. That's what I'm going to name my first kid. John Tim.
Team John Tim.
John Tim Teddy Joe.
Team John
Tim Teddy Joe Grunewald. Welcome to the world, little guy.
God, that strolls off the tongue.
John Tim Teddy Joe. Don't tell Leanne. She won't like it, but I'll just write it down really quick. She'll have no idea. Team Teddy Joe. The beloved middle name of my future child. Do you think the actual answer is over or under their guess of 45% on the JSN side of this?
I'd struggle hoping that they stayed in the 30s because, and I'm just impressed with how good Tim is.
Thanks.
Yeah, do you want to go under, Teddy? Uh-oh. Did I lose Teddy?
Got thundered.
Oh, there's a thunderstorm going on where he is in the middle of the ocean.
I believe Teddy was saying he wanted to go under. Is that what he was saying?
I don't know. You're on your own now, so it's up to you.
I would think at 45% for Jackson Smith-Njigba, that's almost a complete 50-50 split with the rest of the side. And I think there's enough love out there for Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison together that would. So I'm going to go under.
Joey says, "Suck it, Quentin Johnston."
Yeah,
under.
Well, no, I like Quentin Johnston, but not enough people do.
Not enough people.
Keenan Allen or Mike Williams has to go away before the love comes in for him.
Well, we got some answers in the chat to go with the guess of 45% in the under. Toronto Dave in here with 36%. Pang's picks with 42%. We got Andrea with 75%. Kaysen, what's up, Kaysen? Thinks it's 48%. Grim Fan with 28%. Scamper's coming in with 58%. Cody with 41. Jerry with 38. And if one of those is exactly right, can you guys let me know? Because my short-term memory has immediately forgotten every number I just saw.
Got it.
With this poll back up, the actual percentage of people that chose the JSN side of this poll was 68%.
God damn it. I'm so mad.
Tim read this one very well, that it was heavy on the JSN side. And that is with 1,020 votes on that poll, going quite heavy that way.
Saying the votes number. You little stinker.
Only when it's a shocking result.
Only
when it's a shocking result, because that one was pretty high. Tim, you read that one. Do you think this is a case of just the number one rookie being so far and above, at least in people's perception, the other three?
I mean, JSN is, per other sources of NFL players, the best receiver that's come out in quite some time. I really like his opportunity there in Seattle. Tyler Lockett, he's a great player, perennially underrated, but at some point he's going to move on. And, you know, that tandem there of DK and JSN is going to be just so much fun to watch. But he put himself in such a great spot, and I think he's pretty much the slam dunk out of all these guys. I think there's opportunity for these other guys, but he's the one, man.
Well, Andrea and who else in there was with it? Ralph Martinez, both with 75%. The closest guesses in the chat. It's going to be no points for that poll as well. So the score is going to stay at 5-2. Joey, unfortunately, you have been left alone for the time being. Are you Are you good to brave on, soldier on alone? Bring this in
This
for your
reminds
team?
me. This reminds me a lot of time I went to Tallahassee with my girlfriend to a Kenny Chesney concert, and I was left alone after that night too. So let's go. I can do this by myself.
First, your girlfriend, now Teddy. Kenny Chesney brings nothing but pain to your life. Joey, here is my question for you. We've talked a little bit about this situation, but here's a poll directly related to it. If you drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, would you swap that pick for David Montgomery right now? Side A is swap to Montgomery. Side B is stick with Gibbs. What percentage of people said A, swap to Montgomery?
David Montgomery looked very good last night. I'm assuming this pick came out after the game last night.
Yes.
Montgomery looked good. Look, he got the early downs work. Jahmyr Gibbs is special, and I think we did see that last night. He fell down at the 8-yard line, and I shrieked so loudly because he would have just ran right into the end zone.
Well, he just watched too much tape of the Lions from last year. He thought that's what you were supposed to do.
Yeah. No, this is true. Absolutely true. Nice one. I believe in Jahmyr Gibbs. I am not trading it for David Montgomery. But that's me. The public, I'm going to say, I still think Gibbs wins. I'll say 42%. Or no, 41% Montgomery.
41% on the Montgomery side. Team John Tim, they're not breaking up. I saw Scampers ask in the chat. They're staying together. Do you think the actual answer is over or under the guess of 41%?
It's a pretty good guess.
In my mind, there's no way you swap.
No.
Great, but I mean, Gibbs was moving in fast motion. He's moving in fast forward there. Like
He's getting passes,
10 yards up the field, like nothing. He had those crazy spin moves. I think they're just easing him in.
Doing this. Let's go under.
He looked like a rubber ball.
Stupid guess,
Bouncing off people.
Yeah, you got to stick with Gibbs, man. The flash is there. That's what you look for. That's the dream, man.
Let's choose to believe in Twitter this time.
Yeah.
They're choosing to believe in the non-week one overreaction by taking the under here. Well, we got some
Don't let us down
in the chat. Kaysen says 73% and then said, oh, wait, I read it wrong. 44%. 44%. Corrected it real quick. Dave in here with 22%. Ralph guessing 10%. Peng guessing 28%. Dame with 24%. Andrea with 30%. Cody with 19%. Jerry thinks it's 57 and Grim thinks it's 65. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose swap to Montgomery over stick with Gibbs was 12%. That is going to be 2 points for Tim and JL. You guys put your trust in Twitter and they delivered. And Joey, I think you, just like Gibbs watched too much tape, you've just been looking at too many Twitter polls and you had lost your faith that they wouldn't overreact to week one.
I feel like my heart gets me in trouble, just like when I went to Tallahassee with my girlfriend to a Kenny Chesney concert.
It just keeps on coming up over and over again. What an awful thing that you just have to constantly be reminded of.
Yeah.
Well, with that reminder comes 2 points for your opponents, bringing them up within one. And it is their turn for the second to last poll in this game, the last poll before our final round. Team John Tim, are you ready for your last poll?
Let's do it.
So. We're going to get points one of these days, John.
No.
We got to get Craig in here. This has got to be one of the lowest scoring games of poll perception thus far.
I think we had a 2-0 game, or I had a 2-point game, maybe.
I was probably on the 0 end of a 2-0 loss, for being honest. I can't imagine anyone else ending a game of poll perception with 0 points besides myself. Well, here's your final poll. Is Anthony Richardson going to be a top 15 QB? Side A is yes. Side B is no. What percentage of people said yes? Would you like to phone Joey's heart?
I think definitely not. Definitely not. Too loud. I think
it's really loud in there.
It's kind of
a lot of cholesterol just kind of blocking it.
It's just all Richardson. Just
screaming, and P. Ryan and Richardson just screaming at each other in there.
With a little bit of Mike Evans begging to be let out. Let me go to Kansas City.
I want us to run.
But also,
you keep it down, Mike Evans.
We got you the damn creamsicles.
Yeah.
All right, I feel like it's got to be on the yes side just for Richardson hype and rookie hype. People are going to fill in that void, and they're going to be optimistic because that's what we all are, hopelessly optimistic. So I'm trying to figure out how high I want to go on the side A. I think it's like 64%.
I don't have nearly as much faith. So I'd put it closer to the 50 range. Could I name 15 quarterbacks? Probably not. Not that quick. The top 15. I mean, you're looking at a top half, like 64. How about 63? We'll meet you in the middle.
Okay. Deal. 63, lock it in.
Right in between 50 and 64. They have locked in at 63%. Joey, do you think the actual answer is over or under 63%?
I think it's sadly going to be under. I think people have fallen off of Anthony Richardson. The public perception of him has fallen off quite a bit. Although without Jonathan Taylor there, I've jokingly said he might run for 5,000 yards this year, and it might be close to like 1,000, being realistic. I'll still say slightly under, which is not an actual option, but
slightly under, but he's taking it. We've got 63%, slightly under, and we got some guesses in the chat. Dave coming in with 76%. Pang says it is 18%. Andrea says 30%. Grim fan says 100%. No. Cody says 57%. I think Grim's just mad they stole his coach. Ralph with 75%. Dame with 77%. Jerry coming in with 55%. And Scampers thinks it's 88%.
I hope it's not.
The actual percentage of people that chose yes on this poll, is Anthony Richardson going to be a top 15 quarterback, was 55%. So you guys are within 10. It is going to earn you 3 points. And Teddy Joe is going to earn 2 points, meaning as we go into our final poll, this game is tied 7-7. And unless,
damn it, we should have averaged our scores.
Oh, yeah, I know. In that situation, it would have worked.
Well.
Well, good news for you. You have no choice but to average your scores on this one, but you can't communicate beforehand. You're just going to each write down a number. I see. I have no idea how this is going to play out. And Kenny Chesney has come in for the celeb shot at the end for Team Teddy Joe. Our final poll works a little bit differently than the other 6 we just did. Get some pen and paper ready, contestants. What I'm going to do is put one final poll up here. All of you guys are going to write down the percentage of people that you think chose side A. If you have a teammate, I'm going to average your 2 numbers together. If you do not, your number stands alone. Yeehaw. Howdy, America.
My teammate will be this DVD copy of Boys in the Hood. I'll talk to it.
It's Kenny in the Hood is what we got going on right there. All right, here is your final poll for this game. Would you rather live through a zombie apocalypse or an alien invasion? What percentage of people said side A, alien invasion, in this poll?
There's a chance
I voted in this poll, and I did not look at the results.
Thank goodness.
Oh, man.
Tim, did you say there's a chance things get better?
Yeah, with an alien invasion.
Not a good chance.
Probably not with a zombie apocalypse.
Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
But aliens are already here, dude. What are we talking about?
I was going to say, with this hat, I feel like I almost said something. Like, yeah, the aliens are already here. But let's not talk about that.
While you guys are writing down your answers for that, I see a question in here from our friend Max. Said he had Sky Moore in his flex. Christian Watson's out, and Cooper Kupp is on IR. I need a flex badly. Should I drop Kadarius Toney, Kendre Miller, Ty Chandler, Daniel Jones, any of those for Zay Jones in a 12-man PPR league? Here's what I'm thinking, Max. If Daniel Jones is your second quarterback in a 1 QB league, I do like Daniel Jones, but that's a luxury in a 1 quarterback league. And unfortunately, with the multiple injuries that you have early in the season, I don't think you have the luxury of rostering a second quarterback. So I would drop Daniel Jones. You'll be able to pick up a Sam Howell or a Ryan Tannehill or a Jimmy Garoppolo on your bye week, and it'll be fine. What do you think there, John Lucas? You nodding along.
I'm with you. That's why I was nodding. I agree.
Dropping Daniel Jones.
Yep.
All right. Well, does everybody have their answers here for this final poll?
I do.
Okay, let's go ahead and reveal them. What do you guys say? We've got 65 and 35 from that team, which comes out to 50%. You guys perfectly canceled each other out.
Damn it.
And Joey, what did you put on there?
I put 48.
48% from Joey. We have a guess of 50% and a guess of 48%.
Basically, whichever side it lands on,
Oh, no.
a little bit.
Stampers came in here with 39%. Grim came in with 23%. Andrea with 80%. Cody with 43%. Jerry with 62%. And guys, you're not going to fucking believe me, but the answer to this poll is 49%, which means this game ends in an exact tie. 12 to 12.
Way.
Nice
How did we just do
job.
that?
Go.
How did we just do that with 3 numbers? How did we just do that with 3 numbers?
God, we have had so many ties recently, but this one feels poetic right there at the end. You guys canceling each other out. Joey going 1 number exactly on the other side. Just
Let's call Teddy and see what he would say.
we will get a postscript victory for you guys in the Discord. See if we can get what number Teddy would have said. Well,
oh my God.
Congratulations everybody on your victory.
We're all
today.
winners.
Football's back, baby.
This feels like the time I tied in fractional scoring in my fantasy matchup last year.
Peng's in here saying I'm gonna have to turn on Kenny Chesney after this. And Andrea says, have a good day, everyone. And Dave cannot believe it in here. Look at that tie. It's an FYF miracle on week 1 of football.
Speaking of turning Kenny
Howdy,
Chesney
Christmas.
on, my ex-girlfriend in Tallahassee, Florida.
Matt said
Log
mind
off.
blown.
End of week, end of season. Thank you. Good luck.
Dave can't believe it either. Well, guys, what a note to start the season on. We will be back on Monday with some more fantasy football game show fun. Until then, though, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We had fun with you guys today, and we can't wait until Monday. See ya on
Bye.
another time.
Go Fins.
Bye-bye.